Alright guys, it's been a little while since I last covered the Godwin Capital GC8 investment, and as most of you will know by now, GC8 investors have been hit with a 12-month repayment extension. Today's video is going to be a quick update on what the company has been up to. I'll be looking at some of the big projects they're involved with, in partnership with brands like InstaVolt and Starbucks. And by the end of this video, you should have a better idea of whether Godwin is genuinely making moves to fix things, or if they're just kicking the can further down the road. So, let's get into it. Before we dive into the updates, just a quick note, if you're an existing GC8 investor and this is your first time seeing one of my videos, I'd highly recommend you check out my previous videos in the GC8 playlist. I'll leave a link in the description. That'll give you the full backstory of how we got here. A quick recap though, late last year around September, Godwin communicated to investors that they were facing challenges and needed to extend bond repayments by 12 months, which was confirmed in December. Obviously not great news when you're expecting to see your money come back in. Since then, updates have been, let's say, few and far between, and what updates we do get are usually pretty light in real detail. But just before we jump properly into Godwin's latest moves, if you could drop a like on this video, it would massively help push it out to other GC8 investors who need to see it. And if you want to stay up to date on this situation and similar investments, make sure you subscribe. I cover passive income, investments like this, and strategies to build multiple income streams online. Alright, let's see what they've been up to. So, official updates from Godwin are not that great. They're very polished, very high level, and not the most useful when you're trying to figure out what's really happening. That's why I've been keeping an eye on their LinkedIn page. It's actually a decent source of information if you read between the lines a little. So let's load up Godwin's LinkedIn profile and take a proper look. The first thing that jumps out is an internal promotion. Godwin's announced a new planning director. And if you remember from their email in late September last year, they said planning is one of the biggest challenges now. The process that used to take 12 months now takes closer to 24. So yeah, appointing a new planning director should help if this guy's pulling his weight and getting stuff done for us GC8 investors, because any delay at the planning stage just pushes repayments even further back. Okay, next is planning approved for Newcastle's largest EV charging hub, and it's in partnership with InstaVolt. For anyone not familiar, InstaVolt is huge in the UK EV space. You'll find their chargers outside pretty much every McDonald's nowadays. So partnering with them is a really positive signal. However, let's be real, it's going to be a while before this project is completed and generating any real cash flow. Construction, operations, all of that takes time and there's bound to be delays. But assuming it all goes smoothly, it could definitely help provide more stability to Godwin's overall portfolio and hopefully support repayment plans down the line. Scrolling further down, it looks like Godwin have also submitted planning for a large residential project. Now honestly, I'm not getting too excited about this one. It's very early days and there's always a massive planning risk at this stage. It all sounds exciting on paper, big numbers, big potential, but it's not really doing much for GC8 investors in the short term. I'm more interested in what's actually moving now. So what else? Okay, more staff announcements. Godwin seems to be hiring more people, which, as an investor waiting on repayment, is a bit of a tough pill to swallow. It feels like those GC8 investors are just here paying wages. I get that you need good people to grow a company, but when cash flow is already an issue, it doesn't exactly scream we're laser focused on investor repayments. Right, here we go. The sale of Brampton Hut Services. This site consists of 6 purpose-built units, all tenanted by big names like Starbucks, Burger King, Wendy's and Subway. If you're curious, check it out on Google Maps. It actually looks like a decent site. This must be one of the 30 profitable sites that Godwin mentioned back in their September email. So seeing it sold is good. It shows they're actively managing their portfolio to release capital. The only thing that's a bit weird is that they've disabled comments on the LinkedIn post announcing the sale, which just feels a bit off when transparency should really be their top priority right now. But anyway, what else have we got? Another small win. Brightside Restaurant has now opened at Ramjam Services. So yeah, projects are happening. It's good to see. But here's my poorly educated opinion. Just because you have these projects going on doesn't necessarily mean everything's fine behind the scenes. Godwin Developments can have these projects, pay their staff, keep operations running, but if the money management isn't tight, the same cash flow issues we're seeing now could happen again. Even with Blue Water Capital appointed as trustee, and remember, their role really is to enforce illegal charges if needed, not oversee Godwin's day-to-day activities. There are still big risks. And to be clear, I don't have an issue with the repayment extension if it means we get paid back in full. That's why I personally voted in favour of the extension at the bondholder meeting. My issue is with how different this situation is compared to how the investment was sold to me. It was pitched like Godwin have all of these contracts with huge companies, and these companies have 5-year plans, so basically Godwin's a guaranteed investment. Obviously not the case. Introducers, basically salespeople, were doing a lot of the pitching, and while Godwin chose to use those introducers, you could argue it's not directly their fault how it was sold. Still, it's definitely a grey area and something I'll be seriously wary of with any future investments. If you're not dealing directly with the company itself, how can you really trust the information you're being given? I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. The directors at Godwin need to act with integrity. They need to do what they need to do to see investors right. Now's the time for transparency and clear communication. Not the time to disable comments, hide away, and hope people forget. Us investors are the ones who backed you, so we deserve updates and we deserve honesty. Anyway, that's where I'm at, but what about you? Are you a GC8 investor? What are your thoughts? Are they similar to mine, or am I totally off? If you're thinking of investing with Godwin, what about the companies making you interested? Or if you've been invested with them before, what was your experience like? Let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like the video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and other investments. This channel is all about making money online, from investments like this to passive income ideas and strategies to build wealth over time. So if that's your thing, stick around. But for now, that's it. See you in the next one.